Right on. Let's see how everything is looking and registering. Just a couple of quick checks here. Looks good. All right. So here we are at the end of February. I wasn't sure if I was able to get a stream in today, this week rather. But here we are, yeah. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'm using a combination of Photoshop, Adobe Stock, and Substance 3D Stager to just mock up the new book that I just completed a little bit ago, right? So Adobe Creative 3D Workflows coming out in April, and I need to get some kind of promotional stuff around it. And one thing I've done for some of my books in the past is I've designed a 3D book with the cover. So I've got the cover here inside of Photoshop. I've already exported this as a PNG file, and it's ready to go. It's ready to wrap around my assets in Stager. So I'm gonna close out Photoshop. That's all we're using Photoshop for. Basically, I brought the PDF in, trimmed out all of the crop marks and the printer's marks and all that stuff for it. And then we're gonna just quit out of there and use Stager. Hello, Stager. So inside of Stager, I've gone ahead and just simply created an empty environment here, an empty project. And so what we're going to do is start building this up. Now there's a couple of ways to start in Stager, and there are some book models in here. Like if you open up your starter assets on the side here, if you're not familiar with Stager, you've got a number of different starter assets, including all these different 3D models. You've got materials, lights, all sorts of different things. And one of those things is what you see right here, images. So images you can use as sort of like an environmental backplate. And, you know, that's sort of the background of your shoot. I'm probably going to use something from Adobe Stock that I downloaded for this. But if it doesn't work out, yeah, I'll go into the images and the starter assets and do that. Now, a couple of things here. If you look down in the models, there is stuff like hardcover book. This particular book of mine is not a hardcover book. It's a softcover book. It's an Adobe Press book, and they don't come in hardcover. So this isn't going to work for me. I mean, I could do it and make it kind of work, but not so much. I want it to be a little more accurate. So what I've gathered from Substance 3D community assets is a book. So a softcover book set. I'm just going to drag that in to my environment. This is a FBX file. So I'm going to import this. It'll place it in the center. And you can see here, it actually comes as it is a set. Comes with two different versions of the book. One of them being, one of them being closed and the other being open. Now, I do not need the open book, so I'm going to go into my scene panel here. I'm going to choose the open book and just kind of hit delete. We don't need it. That's going to clean things up for me. Now, this book here, I can actually move out into the environment proper and just delete this empty folder as well. And what we've got inside of this particular book here, let's make that a bit bigger, right? We have, you can see the book right there. We have a cover mesh right here. And a good way to tell what things are, like you can click on these things in the environment panel and you can see that they outline in blue, but it's sometimes very difficult to see exactly what they are. It's kind of better if you just hide them. So you can see this mesh here for the cover. You've got one for pages. All the pages disappear when I hide that. Then you've got page 1 mesh. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Page 2 mesh. These are just internals for the book. These two probably don't even matter that much. But pages, page 1 and page 2. That's what we got right there. I'm more particularly concerned with our cover because I want to be able to make use of this and place my actual cover art across this book cover. I'm going to go ahead and dolly in here. So it's really, really close, right? Yeah, like some of these, I think some of these are made just for in case the book is open. So if I hide both of those, you can't even really tell. I might even clean it up a little more by deleting them if I need to. I'll keep them around for now, but may delete them afterwards. We'll see. Oh, so another thing here that's pretty nice. My microphone died a little bit ago, and it's a Rode microphone, so it's an NT1 4th generation. Let's see if we can see that here. There it is. So I love this microphone. I've been using it for all sorts of different stuff for the past 5-6 years or so, and it died on me. Luckily, Rode has a 10-year warranty on their hardware, or at least on this particular microphone, if you have registered with them. So I was able to send the mic back. They replaced the capsule on it and sent it right back to me, and it works absolutely great now. So I'm very happy to have my favorite mic back with me. I was using a 22-year-old microphone as a backup while this one was dead and gone. So I'm very, very pleased that that's back. Thank you, Rode, for doing that. They're a great company. All right, so cover. So where should we start, right? I've got my pages here. And if we choose our orbit tool, we kind of look, right? There's the pages. It looks okay. I have downloaded a SBSAR file. That's a substance archive file. And if I bring that in and drop it, oh gosh, onto my content here, this is to replicate pages. Now I'm probably going to have to make some adjustments to this material as we go in here. Because it doesn't look that great. If I turn on ray tracing as I'm doing this, it can help us somewhat when we're actually trying to sort of sort this out, you know? It doesn't seem like there are actually any real substance properties here. You just got your base surface color and that's that. Book pages side. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is working out. Let's switch to triplanar. And it looks like it's zoomed in quite a bit as well, which isn't exactly what I would want. So I'm not sure this material is going to work. Sometimes you just don't know until you try it out, you know? Let's just undo that. There we go. So I think this default pages material works a bit better. That's okay. But the cover, that's what we really want to get cracking on here, right? So for the cover, right now we've got a cover material. I'm not sure exactly what that entails. It's probably going to work out just fine for what we're doing. So a consideration here when I overlay my artwork on the cover, it's also going to work off of the material. So if the material has any sort of displacement, like creases, folds, anything like that, those are going to show through with the decal. And if we go to object right here, All right, there's no displacement for that particular material, for that object. So that's fine. It'll work out. I'm gonna go ahead and click on this little guy. This is place image on model. And a good thing to understand if you're just getting started doing this stuff is that if I have the entire object collection selected, so the entire book folder, it's a collection of meshes, and you can't place a decal on a collection of meshes. You need to select an individual mesh in order to do that. So that's where the cover comes in here. Okay, so now that I've got that, and I should be able to just kind of drag this guy in. Let's see if that works. Ugh. No, I'm not seeing any indicators here. Wow. Well, oh, there we go. It did bring it in as a graphic. Yeah, so you can drag it in as well. I've actually never done it that way before, I don't think. And here we have it, right? So I can move this guy all around the book cover. We've got our content here, our transform controls. So we have scale, rotation, and so forth. I'm gonna obviously need to scale this guy up. And, you know, I'm not sure what the size of the actual book model is either. It's probably going to need to be adjusted as well, because when they create a book cover, right, they're going to create it for a specific book size, right? And if my book model is not the appropriate size, what's going to happen, right? It's not going to fit very well. And you can see here, right? Not doing so. You can also choose to fill, in which case you get something like this. Let's repeat one. Change my scale here. Oh, it's not going to let me do that, of course, if I have repeat. Let's go back to decal then. Sometimes it is a bit rough trying to fit this stuff on the book. So what you can do is you can always click on it and make some adjustments to your view. So if I stand the book up, actually let's stand it up this way. Whoop. I definitely have the feeling that I'm going to need to update this computer sometime this year, because yeah, it gets a bit laggy when I'm using the Substance stuff. It's an M1 chip. It's a, what's it called? A Mac Mini M1. But it is trying to talk and work at the same time. Yeah. What am I trying to say? Ouch. Oh gosh, I'm sitting on my leg. And I didn't notice the damage I was doing to my ankle there. There we are. Okay, so if I select the whole thing, right, obviously this book needs to be bigger. I need to adjust the scale of the book. So I'm going to go to my transform properties here. And for scale right now, everything's linked. So I'm going to unlink that first of all. We've got X, Y, and Z in terms of scale. And we've also got size here, right? So it's like, well, you know, what's the difference? If I choose size, you can see it does change the size, and it changes the scale as well. So I'm not sure why those are broken apart, really, but they are. So let's see. If I change my size, I need this wider along the x-axis. And notice as I'm doing this, what's happening, right? You know what I should do? If I go into Amazon, it probably has the actual dimensions of the physical book. So if I go in here and I change the dimensions, it might be a little easier to lock this guy in, right?
No one can touch us.
See all details, Amazon.
We are separated.
Oh, they don't have dimensions.
Even
Bummer.
from
Well, I'll just have to eyeball it then. Which is fine. So yeah, as we're going through today, how is everyone doing today? Let's adjust the depth too. The spine is something that needs to be thickened. My book is thicker than the model. Changing scale Y till it's about like that. Probably do it. Let's go back to our mesh, material, graphic. Hmm. 39 by 39. Yeah, we still have extra on either of those sides there. But we can fix that. Actually, let's move the whole book around. Oopsie. Hey, what happened, guy? Well, doesn't look that bad, I guess. I don't know about this material because it's, you can see like that line is bleeding through there. Wow, that I've got that almost set though. Look at that. It's almost there in terms of the book and how it should be laid out. I think the only real difference is I just need to thicken that up for the spine. So again, if we select the entire book and have a look at the spine, we can see that the spine covers quite a bit more than is actually being done here. So if I just thicken stuff up, oh, it's, so that's not great. As I'm doing that, it's like, it's adjusting other things. Let's see what we can do. I don't want that to. See, it's a little weird sometimes how these things work. It tends to want to, at least my impression of how this is doing it, it tends to want to snap to different areas. I always have trouble when I'm doing this with these books, in that it's the spine is the most difficult thing I find. Yeah, the way it wraps around is just very odd. The thing is, though, when it comes to Stager, right, we're mostly looking for the front of the book. So in an ideal world, if we had the measurements, we could get it in there exactly, right? And I suppose I could look in Photoshop, although I already closed Photoshop, to see exactly how things are translated into inches there, if that's what they're actually going off of, right? But there we go. That's looking pretty good in terms of the cover and how things are kind of looking. Oh, except for this here. Oh my gosh. We've got a little bit of that sticking out. We need to cover that up. No. Yeah, it gets stuck. It's so weird. Okay, that's pretty close. Right? Yes. Okay. Now the cover, as I mentioned, I'm not super thrilled with this line that it's making as part of the cover. That's being brought in through the material that's underneath this cover material. So I'm gonna go through and find something a bit different to use. Something like a thick, yeah, something glossy is great. If I replace it with something like that. Yeah, so that's not great. I want something very clean and glossy, like a clean paper. Here's where you go up to your starter assets, search, and you type in paper. There we go. I've got cardboard, pristine cardboard, glossy print paper. That's what I need. Let's grab it, replace that satin fabric, glossy print paper, and right now it's still giving like a weird texture to it, but these presets may help me. So, well, I don't think so. If I take the roughness of the paper down, grain size, there we go. Take that grain down. Wrinkle intensity, we don't want wrinkles, right? Wrinkles, no. We don't want stains. I want stained paper. That's not what I'm looking for. And we want it to be pretty glossy. So I can take things like the specular level. It still has that weird thing. It's so strange. Oh. It's actually coming through the pages. Well, let's replace you as well. Just take that roughness down again. don't know why. This must be coming from... Very weird. Very weird. I mean, we want the pages in there because we want...
Times before.
the pages.
Failing
Let's re-enable that.
1,000 more.
And I don't know. How are we gonna get around that? Maybe if I turn it all black. Nope, not quite. Yes. Height position. Do we have displacement on?
Now conflicted.
Oh, so we do have a displacement parameter that we can enable here. Look what it's done. That's not what we're looking for at all. Yes. Actually, no, I don't have collision on.
Here. Again.
Okay, here's just small or large.
In these woods.
I don't like either of them, but what are you going to do, you know? Pristine cardboard. I mean, we could try that out. Come on, buddy. Get up there. There we go.
Considering this
Give that a shot. I mean, that adds its own set of stuff here.
considering
It did not like that when I changed the projection. I don't know why. Oh, trap. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Oh, let's see. Let's bump my resolution. Pristine cardboard. It doesn't look pristine. It looks kind of ugly. If I take the roughness down, take the wave amount down. I do not call that pristine. That's just like bumpy as all hell. Oh. Yeah, not so workable, is it? Actually, let's go into our project stuff here. Now, if I go ahead and move... No, not models. Something like we got this book here. Let's pop that down. Let's see if that comes with any materials I can use with this, right? Because your project materials are going to show all the different materials that have been added to the project. So now we have page and binding. That might work a little better. Yeah, I still get that stupid little line through there. It's just part of the model. It must be. Because, yeah, it seems like anything that I do, it just sticks that in there. All right, in the interest of time, we won't worry about it. So let's go ahead and finish this up. As I mentioned earlier, what I'm going to do is actually add in an image. I'm going to import this photo that I grabbed from Adobe Stock. I figure I place the book right here, and then we can crop things down afterwards. So if I drop this right into my environment, we'll see if it picks it up or not. I may have to explicitly create a new camera, because backplates, the way they work is they're attached to the camera. Okay, create a new camera. Let's see if I can drag that onto the camera itself. No. Oh, there we go. So as you can see right now, the ground plane is just like vertical, which isn't great. I'm going to try to do a match image and see if that's going to help us out. So with match image, you can set the camera output size to the image aspect ratio, which I don't want to do. You can create lights based on the lighting in the image, and you can match the camera perspective, which is going to align that ground plane, hopefully with our surface. Sometimes this works better than others, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to hit OK. And I'll probably have to adjust the book, of course, after everything's aligned. And there we go. Did a pretty good job, I guess. Now I'm going to select the entire book. It's very lit. You can see it's really quite lit. And that looks absolutely massive. We do not need the book to be that large. Let's find our scale and just bring it down to something more reasonable. Snap it again. All right, so it looks really bright right now, right? But if I go ahead and enable ray tracing, it should be much more realistic. Ray tracing works by trying to emulate how light reflects and passes through things and casts shadows and all sorts of stuff on real surfaces. So this is just a real-time preview if we're not using ray tracing. So let's check it out with ray tracing enabled and see how things might look. Still pretty bright. Way too bright. So let's see, with my camera here, I've done match image. Here's my image right here. We can always turn the image off, right? So, yeah, I don't like the way the lighting works. The whole thing is just too darn bright. So let's go into our starter assets again and find something that might be suitable for this. Office Cafe might work. Let's go for it. Match image once again. Actually, I can make my book much bigger with this image. And it's lit much better.
Expressed continually.
Let's try to make it look like it's sort of... Nope, stop. Sort of against this stuff here. Like leaning up against that content. And then what I can also do is duplicate this guy. So I can duplicate the entire set here. Duplicate, duplicate. Right now they're all together. I'm going to select both of these and shift them over here. Select this top one, shift it up. And I want these guys to be laying flat.
Much
Yeah, it looks great. There you go. And, you know, for each of these, we could always enable collision detection here. So position options with collision. I would also have to go through to each individual object and turn collision on for them both. So once I've got this guy positioned how I want it, maybe something like that, then I can choose this one here. And if I try to go down, you can see the collision's making sure it doesn't pass through the other book. And, you know, I should, oh, I do have ray tracing off. I was like, oh, do I still have ray tracing on? That's bad. All right. Come on, guy. Lift up. Let's go. I don't know why he's not letting me do this. Let's turn collision off. There we go. All right, so maybe we do it something like that. Then let's turn collision back on. And then shift him back down. Boom. So we've got 3 books in our scene. Actually, I mean, I can crop this later, I guess, but yeah. So we could always put in more lights. Like right now, we've got these lights that are derived from the image itself, right? When we match contents, it goes through and it generates physical lights. If we go to our lights here, we can see that there are 4 types of physical lights. There's area lights, spotlights, point lights, and directional lights. And then below here, we have environmental lights, which is pretty much what we're using right there. That's our image here. You can see that. So this is most likely a equirectangular HDRI image that's being used. But that looks okay. I mean, we can always adjust. You know, the thing is, if I adjust the camera, it's going to screw up our because the back plate is stuck to the camera. So if I move the camera, the back plate like moves with it. So watch what happens, right? You can see that it doesn't look correct any longer, right? So let's undo that. Oh, so I can't undo that. The camera has a special camera undo inside of Stager. There we go. So I don't know. I mean, I've got this one. I can always create a new camera. So now I've got camera 2. And for camera 2, I think I'm actually gonna render this without the background. Just so I can go through and actually, you know, have a nice sort of look here. It's pretty proper. And I wonder too, you know, I could always put something behind the book, because there's nothing behind there now, right? To show it. See, this ray tracing is again too darn bright. turn these two lights off. I think that's what's partially screwing me up here. Then let's throw some studio light on there. Take the intensity down a little. And you can change the rotation too, right? Like right now, the lights, you can see the shadows being cast behind the thing. So we could always rotate it a bit along the side. Whenever dealing with lights, I always try and play with them with ray tracing on, just because it's so important, right? You're going to get a much truer to life look to the thing and get that exact lighting that you want, the shadows that you want, and so forth. And that looks pretty good. Although, maybe a bit more straight on like this. Put these two guys closer just by using the gizmo here. Cool. All right. So after this saves, I'm going to hit render it out. And then I can make use of it in Photoshop or Express or whatever in order to finish up my ad. And you know, the nice thing is with the lighting and everything like it is, I don't even see that weird seam that I was dealing with earlier, so that's perfect. All right, we're going to render up camera 2. Go into the render workspace. Let's do it at high. And it's going to render full resolution. I'm going to want it as a Photoshop document. And not there. Stick it in my downloads for now. Render. All right, this is going to render out, and it's probably going to make my camera super glitchy as it does this, because of course Substance 3D applications, they do use a lot of processing power when they do their work. We're doing ray tracing here, high preset, full resolution, and it's estimating about 13 minutes until it's finished. So I'm gonna say that was productive, and yeah. Maybe I'll make use of this, maybe I won't. I'll at least pop it up on my Behance when it's finished. But yes, I think that's just about it for today. I'm not gonna keep talking while this renders for 13 minutes. So thank you, those who have joined live, those who are watching the replay. Likely back next week around the same time, same day, all that stuff. Goodbye.